Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about Singleton design pattern. As the name suggests, we have a class called as Singleton, and at any given point in time you can get only one instance or one reference of that Singleton class. So in this example that you can see here, we have a Singleton class which holds a file. Now my application wants to log some error, and to do that it is going to ask the Singleton class to give a reference so that it can write into the log file. So when my application wants to write a error log called as error1, what it is supposed to do is it is going to ask the Singleton class to open the file for the application so that he can write the error1 over there. Then my application wants to write error2, so it asks for the reference and it is essentially going to get the same reference and it is going to write into the same log file. And when it wants to write log3, it is going to ask the Singleton class to give a reference which is connecting to the same log file so that it can write the error3 over there. Now let's try to jump in for the implementation. Let's write some code in Java to implement the Singleton design pattern. So here is my main application, and you can see what I'm asking in my client application is 3 references. I'm asking the reference of the logger class with logger1, logger2 and logger3. So when I'm asking for this, I am not using any constructor to build my object. Rather, I am asking an API which is inside logger class called as getInstance to provide me the object. And my intent is to write into the log file with the logs that I have, that is error1, error2 and error3. Now let's see, let's try to basically create an object using the constructor. So I have just uncommented this code. You can see here there is a error. What the error says is change visibility of logger. That means the constructor is not on the right scope. That's why it is not accessible. So now let's go inside logger class, which is essentially our Singleton class, and there we can understand why can't we access it with a new operator. So let me just comment this to remove the error as of now. Let me go inside logger class to see why the constructor is not accessible. So if you look here, this line 9 and 10 is basically having the constructor, and this is made as private. So the purpose of making this as private is to not to allow the client application to create any object with the default constructor. Rather, if they want to do so, they have to basically use this getInstance API. What is the job of this getInstance API? So this is called as lazy loading. That means when you are trying to create an instance of the logger class, the first time what it is going to do is it is going to first check if it is not yet instantiated, and it is going to basically create a new logger instance for you and then return that instance. But in the second time what it is going to do is this null check is going to fail. So what it is going to do is it is going to just return the instance object as it is. And if you notice here, the instance logger instance is actually made to static. That means we'll only maintain a single copy of this instance for the logger class. Now let's try to understand why we have a synchronized over here. So here if you look at, we have a shared instance here, and when we have a shared instance inside the logger class, there is a high chance that multiple threads can try to overlap, and that can create a synchronization issue. To do that, different languages implement their own mechanism to handle this, and in this case Java comes up with the synchronize keyword, which will help us to basically maintain the thread synchronization here. So Next, let's go to the API called as get log error into file. So what does this do? So if you look at this, this does nothing. Writing the message that has been passed from the client into the log file. So it opens the log file via the buffer writer, and then it is going to write the same log into the log file. So now let's try to go to the application and start debugging the code. I have a breakpoint set at the line number 7. So what we are going to understand here is we are trying to create 3 references, and we'll finally see that all these 3 references are nothing but the same. Now let's try to start the debugger. I'm going to do a debug as Java application. So my debugger is now set at line number 7. Let's try to get inside the get instance API. I'm going to use F5. So this is the first instance. So the value of instance will be null. So I am going to get inside this and try to create a new logger object. Since this is the constructor is private, this will be accessible inside the logger class, but it will never be accessible outside. Let me put F6 now. Yes, now it is null. I am going to create an instance. So if you look at the instance, now it is saying like, so an instance has been created, and if you look at this, it is A1055. Let me put F6 again. Now I have a reference created. Let me put F6 again, and I'm going inside the log error into file. Let me put F5. So now my intent is to write the error 1 into the file, which is placed in the C Java log.txt. Let me put F6. So now the writing will happen. I'm going to close the file. I'm going to put F6 again. Now I'm going to get inside the get instance for the logger 2. So let me put F5. Now the instance has been created, so it will be not null. Yeah, it is not null, and it's the same reference that I have got for logger 1, that is A1055, ending with A1055. So now this check will fail, and we are going to just return the instance. Putting F6 is going to take me to line number 20. Yes. Now let me press F6 again and F6 again. Now what I'm going to see here is logger 1 is having this reference which is ending with A1055. Logger 2 is also having the same reference which is ending with A1055. Now let me get inside the API log error into file, which is going to write error 2 into the same log file. So let me just press F5. So now pressing F6. So it opened the same log file. Now it has written error 2 over there. You can see here error 2 has been passed. So that has been written to the same log file. Now we are going to press F6 and go out of this API. Now let me just get inside logger 3 by pressing F5. Now the instance has been already created. Now what will happen in that case? I'll go to the line number 20. I am pressing F6, which will be taking to line number 20. Now pressing F6 again, F6 again. Now all my 3 references are ready. Let me show you what this reference is having. So you can see here the magic is you will be having the same reference available here, which says like it is having a reference which is ending with A055. Now let me get inside the log error into file with error 3. So the job of this one is to open the log file that we have and then write error 3 into it. Let me press F5, press F6, F6. Now our job is done. Let me show you what has been written into the log file. So here I have opened the file which has been written. So you can see error 1, error 2, error 3 has been written. And this is all about the singleton design pattern. Thanks for watching this video.